What's up everybody, welcome to Mount Mograph. In today's video, Summit 15, we're going to be making a liquid mask. As you can see, this has a little bit of realistic liquid movement to it. It's not just your standard mask. I didn't spend too much time on this original video, but I promise we'll make something that looks pretty sweet. But yeah, it's an easy effect and shouldn't be too long of a video. I also will show you, this is pretty much the same effect. I just added a little water droplet over on the side, as you can see, and you get like these realistic water ripples as it falls, which I think looks cool. Like, I didn't spend too much time on this, but it should be a pretty quick and painless video. Let's see, and what is this? This was like a glitch effect that I was gonna make, and I just got bored, so I didn't. But I can probably cover some of that at the end of this video because it'll be quick if I remember. So anyway, in your After Effects, let's open that up and create a new composition. Command N on your keyboard and just set it up to whatever you want. I'm going to use 1920 by 1080, pretty standard. Press OK. I'll just name this main comp or something. That works. Let's go and create a new solid on our keyboard. So we're going to press Command Y on our keyboard, and I'm going to use, I guess I'll go like a light blue. No, that's boring. I'm gonna go orange. No, that's boring too. I just have to think of a color. Okay, so it looks like I'll be using a green, and I'm just gonna call this layer background, or BG for background. And let's start by just adding some text to our thing. So you can either click your text tool up here or do Command T on your keyboard to bring up your text tools. I'm just going to type liquid, and this font is just Hips Helvetica, which someone just like modified a Helvetica font, and it looks kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. Makes everything look a little bit more artsy and whatnot. Okay, so now that we have our liquid text on the screen, let's do a couple things. First, we'll add a drop shadow. Drop shadow to it real quick. So just go up into your effects and presets and type in drop. And we'll drag a drop shadow and put it onto our liquid layer. I'm going to just move the distance out. Yeah, that's fine there. Turn my opacity down to 20, and we have this looking effect. I think that looks pretty cool. So let's see. Now what we're going to do is, well, here, let me show you the wrong way to do it, and then I'll show you the right way, because that's probably going to be more helpful. So if I was just to create a new like shape mask or shape path, and I'll just draw something. So this is how you, like, a lot of people fake this liquid movement, and I think it always looks bad and it takes way more time than what we want. So you do this, and then you go into your shape path properties and just set a keyframe, and then go forward, and then you would literally have to move each of your keyframes like this. So I mean, yeah, it just takes a while. And try to get, yeah, and you do your best to get like that liquid look to it, and then you'd play it, and you'd have kind of, I don't know, look kind of oozes. It doesn't really look that good. You could definitely spend a lot of time and get a decent looking effect, and then you just set this as an alpha matte, and then your text would kind of be like drawn on like this, which looks fine. It's really easy to do. So I mean, I didn't draw the whole thing, but yeah, so that's basically how I've seen some people do this effect, and I think it doesn't really work. I think we could do it better using a Liquify filter, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So just go and press Q on your keyboard, or grab your rectangle path tool and just draw a new path. My alpha is still turned on, so I'm going to just turn this to off, and there my shape path will be. So now what I'm going to do is, let's see, on my shape path, I'm going to call this liquid mask. Press S to bring up your scale properties, and I'm going to set a keyframe, and then unconstrain my proportions here, and then go forward, and I'm just going to scale it up so it goes over my text, so that way when I play it, it's going to go over like that, and we'll be using an alpha matte to kind of wipe on our text like that. So I'm going to now turn my opacity of my mask down just so I can see through it to kind of see what I'm changing. And that, I turned it down to 70 if you guys wanted to know, or you didn't read it. And anyway, go into your effects and presets and type in Liquify, and it's up at the top right here, and drag this onto your liquid mask. So let's turn on a couple options. Basically, if you go into your view options and click view mesh, you'll be able to see this mesh that's now all over our screen. And it's only going to affect the layer that your Liquify filter is on. But if I was to move something, as you can see, my mesh is actually distorted, and that's what's changing our shape. So that is the basic theory behind this. So I'm going to do Command Z, and just undo that. Additionally, if you have a slower computer, and it's going to, this effect for some reason really lags out my computer, it might lag out yours. If you're having trouble with that, you can turn your mesh down up to large, and that's gonna have like less well, it's not going to be as great as using the medium mesh or the small mesh, but it's going to make your system work a little bit lighter. So just with that out of the way, we'll get into this. So I will use this large one just so you guys can see it still makes a good effect, and also so my system goes a little quicker. So I'm going to press U on my liquid mask to bring up the properties I've changed, and press J to go to the previous keyframe. So as you can see, we're at the bottom of our liquid. So first I'm going to set a keyframe. Right here, this distortion mesh, just click that. That's going to create a keyframe, and then go up and select this tool right here. And this is your basic like warp brush or warp tool. And also, a quick tip is if you're painting something or you have a brush size, you can hold Command and drag, and it'll actually scale up and down your brush. So that makes things also easy. So right at the beginning, I'm going to just kind of distort this. Basically, just click and drag. I hid my mesh just because I didn't really need to see it. And this is going to just be like our starting point for it. And the cool thing about the Liquify filter is now if I just was to scrub through, it's actually going to like change. So basically, it's going to always try to go back to its original like shape. So as you can see, as I'm dragging through it, the bumps I made at the beginning are being changed. So I'm going to go forward now to a little bit like around here, and similar to how we would mess around with our mask path and like change each of the vertex or vertices, I'm just going to use it like this and just drag it up, and basically this is just a much quicker, more organic way of making this. So hold Command and drag it down, and you can turn your brush pressure up, and this will just affect your shape a little bit more. I shouldn't have used the same color as my liquid text, but it's okay. So as you can see, we're getting like a lot more. Well, I hope here. Actually, let me change my liquid mask color to just really anything else so we can hopefully see better. So as you can see, we're getting like a lot of more like little bends and changes in our mask, and this would take like 15 different mask points if you're just doing it the standard way, which would be really annoying and take a long time. So I'm just going to do a little bit more here and there. Okay, so great, that looks pretty good. So now just go forward on your timeline a little bit more, and just repeat the process. And let's see, you can turn this up, turn this down. Man, my computer's really going slow. This always happens though. This happens on everyone's computer unless you have like a supercomputer. This for some reason this effect just with all the mesh really slows down your computer. So in some ways I'm thankful that I decided to put it on the mesh size of large for this video, otherwise you guys would not be seeing much of anything right now. Let's see, maybe drag something out there, drag this down. And you can spend a lot of time with this just making a lot more ripples or anything like that. But I think this should work pretty good. So now when we get to the top, the end of where our scale up is, I'm just going to turn my brush size way up and just drag like a bigger portion of it up. And this is just going to create like a swell near the end. So now we should be able to play it. I'm going to press N on my keyboard to set my work area there. So I'm going to press 0 on my keyboard just to do a preview real quick. And we should be able to see like this. This is actually a cool way if you wanted to make like some cartoon looking water or something. You could spend some time with this. There's a lot of other tools actually up here that you can use, which maybe I'll I had no really reason for using them in this video, but I can show you guys in some other video if I can think of some cool way to do it or something. So anyway, as you can see, it kind of creeps up over our liquid text, and it looks a lot just more organic and natural than our mask pathway that people sometimes do. So now I will just turn my liquid mask, the opacity up to 100, and set your alpha matte onto your actual text channel. And I'll just do one more RAM preview. And as you can see, it kind of draws on. I was thinking this would be like a cool way to animate like a burn onto something. Like if you imagine if you had like a cube with like a fractal noise later in the background of like some fire or something, you could like burn it onto an object. So that would be pretty cool. I wish I had thought of that before I started making this video. So now that we have that made, you can duplicate this layer if you want to create. So I'll just grab both those and do Command D on my keyboard, and then select both those layers and just do holding Alt, do page down a couple times, and that's just going to move our layers forward, or you can just drag them over. So let's see. Now we have that top layer is good, and we're going to want our bottom layer. Turn your text path on that one down to like 70 or something. So now it's going to look like it kind of has a different wipe. And what you can do for this is actually just go and reanimate your liquid mask just differently, so it looks like there's layers of water. But now if I do a preview of that, we'll see what happens. I think this effect looks pretty cool though. It's definitely different, but it kind of simulates like an object filling up with liquid, which is nice, and it looks super cool. It's really easy to make, obviously, as you can see, but you can use this for a lot of stuff, and I don't know, I think it looks nice. Let me see, I'll just wait for this to finish, and then we'll go and create that little liquid droplet real quick, and we'll see what else I can think of showing you guys for this video. So let's see. Yeah, that looks nice. So it's a really subtle effect, you know, but just every little keyframe you add always makes things look better. And if you slowed this down, this would probably look pretty nasty. Nasty in a good way, of course. Let me see, I'll just grab these and holding Alt, just drag them out. If you guys didn't know that, actually, if you select keyframes and select them all and hold Alt on your keyboard and click them, you can actually just like drag out your time. So like all your keyframe time will stay the same. It'll just be, does that make sense? Like where your keyframes are affecting your object, it's just going to change the length of it. I don't know. I hope that explained it. Anyway, so it seems to be just chugging along. I just want to make it slower so it looks a little bit cooler. And yeah, that looks fine. So let's see. Let's make this droplet. So just select all your layers, press U on your keyboard. I'm going to hide these just so now it's going to go a little quicker, because that Liquify filter really does take up some of your space. Okay, so just as a reference point, I'm going to bring up my liquid text just for a second. And so let's see, maybe around 2.5 seconds on my animation, I'm just going to grab my pen tool and just draw a little liquid thing, droplet. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we'll change it in just a second. I just wanted to get something in there for a reference. And now I'm going to hide my liquid layer, and now I'll fix my path. So let's see. Basically, go into your properties on that shape layer. I'm going to call this a droplet. And go into your mask path, and then we are just going to make this look a little better. Man, it's stupid. I shouldn't use blue because my Bezier handles are also blue. Nothing's working for me in this video. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to draw a little bit of a droplet. What the heck? What the heck? Man, sometimes this doesn't work. It's like half the time I can get it to do what I want it to. Whatever. Well, this is annoying. What the hell? Okay, well, it looks like I will just be kind of faking it. And just draw. Crap. Anyway, sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, of course. So just make something that looks like a droplet. So make it have a fatter bottom, and see now my shortcuts are working there. That's weird. So anyway, we have our basic path. Set a keyframe, and I'm just gonna go forward in time, and also set a keyframe on your position, and then just go forward in time and drag it down a little bit to like there, and a keyframe will automatically be made. So select your droplet and press U, and it's only going to show our properties we've changed. Go forward a little bit. Oh, whoopsie, I actually need this position to be here. And this one was probably up there. Okay, anyway, so it has basic movement. I'm going to set easy ease on this, F9 on your keyboard, just so it eases into the place and eases out nice and smooth. I'm going to add a basic path animation to my little droplet here. So just select these, drag it out like this, maybe make it slimmer, expand that, and then just at the bottom, set a keyframe. Actually, yeah, I mean, once again, this just comes down to what looks good to you. But I'm just gonna kind of set my preliminary motion before you add your Liquify filter to things. Always makes it look a little bit better. I kind of use the Liquify filter as a way to make my animation I already have look a little bit better. Like, add the little ripples and stuff to it. Yeah, it's so weird. Now my buttons are working perfect. It just wasn't working for a second. So we have that basic drop or drip. So I'm going to have my droplet selected and just drag my Liquify filter onto that. And then at the beginning, I'm going to set a distortion mesh. I'll set a keyframe. Grab my warp tool, and I'm just going to turn my size of my pen down holding command, and turn my brush pressure up a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of, just drag out a little bit on the sides. Maybe even make my brush a little smaller. And you don't want it to go too crazy, right? At least for this effect, but you want it just to add like ripples, because it'll keep trying to go back to its original object between keyframes. So you'll get like this nice looking ripple effect, which I like. Turn my brush pressure up, down a little bit, sorry, and adjust the pen size. Maybe add a little bit more there. And then as it hits, I'll just kind of drag it out. This is not going to be perfect, but it should give you an idea of what you can do with this filter. So I'll press space, and as you can see, we get a pretty realistic looking, like a water driplet or smoke or something. Looks pretty decent. And then I'll just add a drop shadow to that as well, just to fit in with my text. Drop that onto my droplet, and just turn my opacity down on this to like 20. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to set my droplet behind all my layers, turn my two text layers on, and once my computer catches up and realizes I have changed something, we should be able to see what we've made. And it's not going to be perfectly lined up right now, I don't think, but we should be able to still kind of get the general idea of what's happening. So yeah, I could probably animate that on or scale it up or something as my liquid's popping up. But we'll just see what it's going to look like. I think it should look cool. So yeah, I really wasn't sure what to make for today, but I think it turned out all right, and it's a quick video. Teach you about the Liquify filter. I don't really think there's too many places online to learn. You just kind of have to mess around with it and see what you can make. This is one of the uses I found for it, which is fun. Yeah, I'm just trying to kill some time while this previews. Let's see. So, I mean, it looks kind of cool now that it's slower. It's like that slow burn or slow wipe on or liquid. which looks good. And then as our droplets falling, you're going to see the little ripples on the side, which looks like you spend way more time on it. And it also looks a lot better than just adding like a wiggle path to it or something. You have a little bit more control over the motion and what it looks like. So that looks cool. We'll just give it another second and it should be all ready. All right. Man, I always wish computers would render quicker, you know? But that's one of the things. Once you start getting pretty heavy with effects, it's going to go slower no matter what. But this is pretty optimized nonetheless. It's not too bad. Longest I've waited for a render was 117 or 18 hours, and that was in Cinema 4D, which is understandable. So yeah, 3 days later, you have a 10-second video, which just kind of sucks. But After Effects is generally pretty quick unless you start putting a lot of 3D layers in it. So let's see, I'll just press spacebar or 0 key. And so as you can see, yeah, I'm not spending a lot of time on this, but you can kind of get the general idea of how to do this effect. And yeah, that's about it for today. The glitch effect is really just Venetian blinds, just a little wipe on. So if you have questions about that, just drop me a comment and I will let you guys know how to do that or put up another video. I just was running out of ideas. I want to put up a little bit of a longer After Effects video. I just couldn't think of a cool project that hasn't been done already. So anyway, if you like this video, leave me a comment or like this video, or if you hated it and were totally bored, dislike it or just don't watch it. But yeah, appreciate you guys checking out my stuff and get your learn on. See you guys. Actually, we'll play this one more time and then I'll say bye. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.